All right, hello, I'm Joe Walensky, and there's just a few people getting together today to talk about user assistance on this video cast, and we have Tony Self. How you doing, Tony?
Good, thanks, Joe.
And where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Melbourne in Australia.
All right, and we have Matthew Ellison. Hello, Matt.
Hi, Joe. I'm calling from Romsey in the UK here.
All right, where is Ramsey?
You don't know where Romsey is?
No.
It's just north of Southampton, which is near the south coast of England.
All right, and we have Dave Gash. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Joe. I'm in San Diego, North County, San Diego, California.
All right, and we also have Jonathan Foster. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Joe. I am calling in from Redmond, Washington. Studio A, the heart of Xbox.
All right, which is what the first thing we wanted to talk about. So Jonathan agreed to get on for a few minutes and talk to us about the things that are going on with the support for the brand new Xbox One, which I saw at the store last week, and I didn't really get a chance to play with it because it's too many kids running around. I wanted to look at the help, and all the kids wanted to do is play games with the Xbox.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so anyway, why don't you tell us what's going on with support for Xbox One and show us some of the things you're doing.
Okay, I'll just quickly say that historically, help has been basically served up on Xbox.com, support.xbox.com for 360, and it's had its success, but it's a separate experience from the console. For Xbox One, we wanted to get the user assistance into the experience within the console. Um, and so what we did was we developed an app. It's basically an app-driven experience across all of Xbox One. We developed an app that snaps in most experiences up on the right-hand side when you either push the menu button and call for help, or you can say Xbox Help, and it will snap, and it's contextual to the app that you're in. In some places, it's actually contextual to the area in the flow within the app that you're in. On top of that, what we're able to leverage within that's basically text-driven, and it's articles that are kind of high-level assistance. Most of the more break-fix oriented stuff, or stuff that has to do more with errors, is still being served up on Xbox.com. So we're trying to extend more of awareness around features within apps across the console using this help app to do that. So they're short, very short, text-driven articles that, again, appear in the Snap experience within Xbox. But then we're also able to leverage our videos there too. And so for the launch, we were able to, for the English US market, we were able to produce 21 videos that are available there now. And I can show you the kind of videos we're doing. We're focused on 30-second to 90-second videos, try to get in and out. We're keeping stuff very focused, but I can show you one of our longer ones, and we can cut out whenever we want, but you can see the kind of thing that we're doing if you'd like.
All right, why don't you share that over?
You bet. Here it comes. So, and I'll do a little narration because I'm not hearing our actress voiceover. We hired someone that does all our videos. She's a professional actress that happens to be here in Seattle, and she is our voice of Xbox. But what we want to do is we wanted to bring awareness around the basic experience because it's brand new. So one of the first things we had to do was show people how to sign in, because if you're not signed in, the majority of the experience is well, it's a better experience across the board if you are signed in. Some of the issues that we deal with here as we go through this is we have to make sure that all our gamer tags and all our gamer pics that you see there are fictitious. Some of the artwork in the right there that just dimmed out, we have to create that because we cannot use Brad Pitt's face in these videos. That's a big challenge for us. So we created a big library catalog of music, television, and movie, what we call faux art. So we shot it so that it looks like real art, and then we use it within these videos. Um, Here again, we're showing people some stuff that they need to know to get around. That's the controller, the new controller, and if they don't know to push the Xbox button as you're seeing now, they won't know how to get back to home, and the menu button as well. So we just kind of front loaded some stuff. Interesting, you'll see that little window just popped up. It says, or say Xbox Go Home. Because we're working with Kinect, we can't have the video say Xbox Go Home because Xbox will go home because the video tells it to do that. So we have to give our voice commands text driven and just have it run on top of the voiceover that's happening. So like I say, this is one of the longer ones. Usually they're focused on one event, but we wanted a lead video that we could put out there that would be leveraged. This one's being leveraged in the Getting Started page on support.xbox.com.
Now you're showing it in the browser, but what you were saying about the app was there. So in Xbox, there's apps that you can load up, and one of the apps has all the help stuff in it.
That's exactly right. So it's all the help is served up through a service. It doesn't ship with the box. So the app knows to call certain pieces of content that sit up on the service in any given context, and same with videos. It's wired up and it serves it, and so these videos are coming across in 1080p, full, beautiful, big screen experiences. That's one of the problems with running them through a browser, which there is IE access, Internet Explorer access within Xbox One. However, you have to have gold membership to access that. So we couldn't put the help, we couldn't be dependent upon a web-based help experience for the console. And one of the payoffs to that is that the videos render much more richly than they would based upon what's going on Xbox.com right now.
Do you guys have any questions for Jonathan before he has to jump off?
Yeah, Jonathan, it's Tony here. I've just got a question. I've got a question about the metrics. So for a 90-second video like this, or a typical 90-second video, have you got any idea of how many man hours are required to produce it?
Well, we're a pretty trim shop. I have a very talented writer on my team that creates that. I really don't have that pegged. I did when I worked in office. I had it down to the second. But I would say for something like this, a lot of it is just getting everything prepped for everything. I was talking about the artwork issue. Once you get that done, which takes a lot of man hours, then you can just plug them in. So there's a lot of prep that I won't represent, but actually just doing this kind of video, since it is straight screen capture and some compositing where we have to cover up Brad Pitt's face, for example, that's the real, or any of those graphics that you see floating in and out. To build those out, that's kind of some of the heavy lifting. But actually doing this video probably took Harry only a day and a half. The prep, of course, was much greater than that. I forget the name of the tool, but we capture it straight out of the HDMI cable, and it plugs right in, and that plugs then into a computer, and we're able to capture it in 1080p. So the actual capturing of it is fairly simple.
Okay, I have a question, if I may. It's
Yes.
Matthew. My question is, presumably you're able to monitor how many people are actually watching these videos.
Yes.
So what percentage of your gamers are actually taking the time to watch these videos?
Well, we only launched on 11/22, and here we are at 12/10. So we don't have any of that data yet.
Okay.
I'm anxious to get to it. We had a big push to get everything live and looking good for the customer, and then getting the metric story is basically the phase we're in right now. But I can tell you the kind of data that we're going to be looking at is, if we can, we're going to get just video plays, of course. That's kind of the bread and butter of video. We're going to see, we were able to, on Xbox.com for 360, because our videos are surfaced there, we were able to get duration figures, how many people are making it to 25%, 50%, 75%. And we usually don't go to 100% just because really the meat and potatoes happens at about 90%, and then we have kind of a card at the end that doesn't have any meaning.
Right.
But then also what we're trying to do too, and we'll do that with these videos, is we try to, with this video, this is an overview one that I demonstrated, but the most of them are just single intent. How do you change your gamer pick, right? And so once we answer that, we watch the video and we figure out when that intent has been answered. And we want that metric too, because if we see a lot of people are pulling out at 60%, well, maybe they got their answer, so they're going to turn off the video. So we also watch what the content says based upon the need. What is the intent, the user's need in that moment, and when that intent is answered. So that's.
Are you imagining then that people will use these videos on an as-needed basis? So they're not going to sit down and watch a whole load of videos to prepare to use the game. They're just going to maybe consult a video if they have a problem or a question. Is that the idea?
That is the way that we've approached it. We come from a web-based background. When I worked in Office, we overhauled the entire content experience in that way, getting down to single intents because we knew that people were searching on things. And I think that the user experience is pretty specific around that. People will go to the general overview, and I hope they do have a great browse experience across all our videos. But it really is strategized to hit on certain issues that might come up for the user. And we really track through our data sources where those issues are, and then we try to get ahead of the game and create the video before the fact. So yeah, so we are strategizing. That's a long answer to yes. We're strategizing towards people having an issue and searching and finding it. In fact, we got one review. This is just not any data, but we got this review from Wired where the author was rather frustrated with multiplayer, couldn't figure out how to switch focus between the snapped experience and the full experience, and he said Xbox help, and found a video that answered his question. And that was magic for us, because that's exactly what we're trying to do, answer specific questions.
All right, great. Well, yeah, so I know you had to jump into another meeting,
Indeed, we're recording our actress right now, so I got to go get in there. We have some scripts we have to get done. So, Joe, thank you, and thank you, everyone, and I will look to see what you all are speaking of when I see the podcast.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, we also have another guest. So Jordan jumped in with us. Hi, Jordan. How are you?
Hi. How are you? Good.
All right, Jordan. Jordan's from Zurb. Where are you located? Where are you talking to us from?
So we're located in Campbell, California.
All right. Well, these other guys are all veterans of the user assistance wars. So Dave is in San Diego area. I'm in Seattle. Matthew's in the UK, and Tony is in Australia. And we were just talking with Jonathan Foster from Microsoft, who does work with the Xbox One support. Yes, so you were going to talk to us about Joyride and what that's all about, and how that fits into what Zurb does.
Right. So here at Zurb, we focus, for those of you unfamiliar with what we do, we are first and foremost sort of a web usability, web product design firm. And we work with our clients to sort of develop their front end for either web apps or also, I guess, native apps as well in iOS environments and things like that. And from this experience as a design firm, we've sort of developed best practices that we think other people can benefit from. Like, for instance, we developed a framework called Foundation that we build most of our websites on. And we've since shared that with the community. And we're now in our 5th iteration of that. And a lot of these components that are built into Foundation have come from these client projects. And we have this section of our site. How do I actually pull up a web page. How do I show you that? I'm not familiar with Google Hangouts.
Yeah. So
Let's
if
see,
you move your cursor over to the left of the window that your image is in, there's a green icon, which is the screen share icon.
There we go.
And then you can pick a window or browser window to display something.
Where's my browser window? So my desk.
I actually found this through another person. Michelle had sent me a link about Joyride, and I hadn't heard about it at all. And then I played around with the demo page, which is on Zurb, and it was just an interesting treatment of guided help. And it's open source and free, and looks fairly simple to be able to build into a website. And so that would kind of how I found my way to this.
Basically why. Well, yeah, it's basically just kind of a future tour plugin. I'm trying to get my configurations here working so that I can share the screen with you. Let's see.
That's all right.
Sorry about that. All right. Okay. All right. There we go. Is that working now?
I see pizza pie charts.
All right. Awesome. So what we do is we have this sort of playground where we experiment and we build things that I think benefit some of our projects or something that our clients needed. And we'll put these open source on our zurb.com/playground. And this is where Joyride lives. It was one of these playground pieces that I created about 2 years ago, and has since become a part of Foundation and has been on some sites here and then. Let's see, let's find Joyride. So, if I spell it correctly. There we go. So if you go to the playground, you'll be able to find Joyride. And I think I have it here in this tab already loaded. And as I was saying, it's a Future Tour plugin. Not too obtrusive, I don't think. It's sort of inactive unless you choose to interact with it. I'm sure you've seen these on websites before, but we just kind of took something and abstracted it out so you can easily integrate it into many websites. Because before this, a lot of these were heavily integrated in people's applications. So there were
your voice keeps dropping out. Are you?
Sort of here's an example. So I'm sort of being guided around the implementation of Joyride itself. How's it now? Is that better?
Yeah.
I think my internet connection is really slow. Okay, so as you see, it's sort of guiding me around the page, and the nice thing about Joyride is it's fully responsive, so you can write these directions for the website, and they'll work on mobile devices, they'll work on tablets and desktop devices as well. And you can give them a series of instructions and style it however you want. You have almost full control over what it looks like. And the implementation is pretty simple. You can download it here or go to our GitHub page and download it. And what you do basically is you have this, can you see my editor? I don't know how the screen sharing preferences carry over. Or
No, we still see your browser.
You still see the browser? Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll have to switch to that other window. Share that other window.
All right, let's do screen sharing. Here we go. All right.
Yep, got it.
So what you do is you drop this ordered list onto your page, and inside of this ordered list, you have all your different what I call stops inside of LIs, or list elements, inside this ordered list. And each one of these elements can be configured individually to have custom button text for advancing. They can attach to elements by either class, which you're seeing here on this one on line 104. It's looking for the first element that matches the So Awesome class, and then attaching that particular tour stop to that element. You can also use IDs to attach a stop to a particular element in the page, and you can configure all of these different stops with data options as well. And these are things like tip location. You can change the tip animation speed and the style of animation as well. And what you do is you just include jQuery, and then after you include jQuery, you drop in the Joyride library, and you initialize it preferably after window load is finished completing. That way all the images are loaded and we can properly calculate the offsets of the elements in the page. And then here we're binding our Joyride library to the list of instructions. So these should be hidden on your page. So you can just display none of these elements and then initialize Joyride. And if you want it to start automatically, you can do auto start and set that to true. And otherwise, there's a lot of other configurations that you can do. There's some event bindings that you can tie into, like the post-step callback. This is fired after each step. There's expose mode that you can turn on. So as you saw on the Joyride page, we had expose off. And what expose does is it allows you to get back to my browser. Let's see, right here. All right, and what that'll do is just allow you to call out certain features in the page. So in this case, it'll dim the background and highlight the element that you're wanting to call out.
That's
and you can initialize Joyride after some particular event that you designate, and it'll just kind of guide the user around your page. Say, oh, this new element, check this out. This is really cool, and here's this new fancy placeholder photo. So that's basically Joyride. Do you guys have any questions about it, or how to implement it, or how to customize it, or?
Well, Dave, you're the script expert. What do you think in terms of implementation issues or anything? Did you see anything you might want to ask a question about?
Well, it looked pretty simple, actually. That's one of the benefits of jQuery plugins is implementation is generally pretty straightforward. So those features look nice. I especially like the little modal windows, so you can draw attention to that and prevent further interaction until the user dispenses with a.
Oh yes. Oh well, one thing I forgot to mention as well is that if you don't tie one of the elements on the page to a Joyride stop, then that stop becomes a modal. So it just kind of centers on the screen and grays out the background. That's really useful for, I guess, triggering a next step event, like having somebody advance in your sign up process or things like that.
Can the information that Joyride provides be based on user behavior, or can it kind of evolve over time that perhaps less information is provided when users have used an application more than once, or can it detect when a user might be having problems in particular areas?
Right, you can definitely do that. One of the nice things about Joyride is that you can trigger it anytime you want. So by default, it initializes on page load, but you can initialize it and start up a Joyride whenever you feel like it. You can auto advance the Joyride, and it works really well with framework, like some sort of backend framework. So, for instance, if I go to, let's see the demo again, and one thing you can do is if you're using something like Rails, you can just, if the user, if user new, if have some sort of detection to see if they've seen this particular element, and you can hide and show certain sections of your tour based on how much they've seen or how much they've done, and keep track of that in your database. Out of the box, Joyride has the ability to detect whether or not a user has completed the tour using the jQuery cookie library. So you can add that after you add jQuery, and it will use that and allow you to configure things like when a cookie should expire, what domain name should be associated with that cookie. And if somebody closes out of your tour, refuses to look at it, or has already seen it, they won't see it again. So you can not annoy them, I guess. But I always recommend doing that in the back end. So choose what to show to the user based on what's in your database. But it's very flexible. You can, whatever you put inside of your ordered list here will get used in the tour. And if something is not on the page, so let's say you keep the ordered list the same, and let's say this second stop here, which is numero 2, the element that has the idea numero 2 isn't on the page, this section will be skipped entirely. So we'll just skip over it and go on to stop 3 and show that one.
Jordan, I have a question.
Sure.
Is the list physically included in each individual page, or can you externalize that and include?
So you could put it in sort of layout that you have. It has to be included in your markup, though. So that's sort of a design decision that I went with, because I work with a lot of designers, and they're very familiar with how to construct markup. And so I thought, okay, well, instead of doing some sort of JavaScript object, let's have them build out this ordered list that has all these stops in it. And so if you just put that somewhere in your layout before you initialize the Joyride plugin, then it'll be able to find it and work just fine. But you don't have to put it on every page, no.
Jordan, it's Tony here. I've just got a question about the data class. So if there's multiple elements on the page that have, in this case, So Awesome as their class, then does it go to the next one based on where the step is currently in position?
Yes, that's a good question. What I chose to do, if there are cases where you have more than one element that matches the selector, in this case, the So Awesome class, I chose just to show position it relative to the first match. So if you have 3 elements in the page that have So Awesome, and whatever the first one in that index is, that's the one that'll be positioned relative to.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for taking a few minutes to show us around this. It's definitely something I want to look into a little bit more myself. And so I'll. So is the best place to download that from Foundation or through your Zurb the part of your Zurb site?
Yeah, so you can download it through either one. The foundation.zurb.com, you can download the Foundation version there, or you can get the independent, the standalone version of Joyride by going to the zurb.com/playground page.
Okay.
They're also on GitHub too, if you want to check that out. It's github.com/zurb/joyride. For the standalone, and then /foundation for the Foundation version.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll put that in the show notes for this. So, yeah, thanks for taking the time to give us that nickel tour, and we'll give you some feedback if we're able to get involved in working on this with some projects.
Thank you. That'd be awesome. Definitely love feedback. Help keep things up to date and keeping them evolving. It'd be awesome. Thank you guys for the time to show it.
All right, cool. Well, we're just going to keep talking along here. You're welcome to hang on or just head out, and I'll just be in touch by email.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jordan. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. So, sounds interesting. I want to try and play around with that a little bit when I get some time to try and put some kind of prototype together for that. What about you, Matt? You've done a lot of work with guided help over the years.
Well, yeah. Well, I've tried to drum up a lot of interest in it over the years, but with little success. It's one of the things that never really took off. And Microsoft originally had planned to do it in Vista. It was a major part of the Vista user assistance, and that got canned for security reasons because it was just there were too many possibilities for because they were all the guided help would actually take over your computer and do tasks for you, and they saw that as a major security vulnerability. So that was taken out, and since then third parties have experimented with it, but none of the tools have really taken off, and none of the main authoring tool vendors, the help authoring tool vendors, have seemed interested in moving into this area. But I think there's a lot of interesting potential there.
Yeah, I mean it seems like it's really just a series of smart pop-ups that don't really interact with anything outside of whatever page it's working with in the library that's attached to it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a bit more informative rather than procedural. The guided help I've looked at before was where it would actually literally stop the user from making errors. It would deactivate certain parts of the application and only allow the user to click on the required correct response. It was a little bit like a kind of software video, a Captivate type video, except you were actually viewing the real live application and actually doing real live interactions, but within this kind of constrained environment. So what we saw today is not quite that. I really like the idea of help being embedded within the application in that way, and giving people that sort of awareness raising, which is very nice.
All right. Well, there were just a few things, a few news items. Tony, did you still have those things queued up on your shared browser?
Yep, I do. Yep.
So one of those was the XML Press announcement. So I think that was they had a special 50% off ebook sale. So that goes through, what was it on there? I think it's this week that ends. I can't see it now.
December 13th.
Okay, so just got a few days for that. So go to the XML Press site and you can find the promo code to get that reduction. Let's see. So the other thing I thought was interesting, kind of another video about technology, was the one from Google for Google Glass, where it's explaining how to use Google Glass. You have that one queued up? No, not me. Yeah, that was it.
Ready to go?
I mean, yeah, sure, just play that.
Here are the basics of how to use Glass. This is your touchpad. It runs from your temple to your ear. Tap the touchpad to wake up Glass. You should see the display above your line of sight. Adjust it to see everything. The home screen shows a clock. This is your timeline. It's a row of cards. Things to the left are happening now or coming up, like the weather, an upcoming flight, or an event in your calendar. You can tap on any card to see more. Swipe down anywhere to go back to the timeline. Cards to the right of the home screen are from the past, for example, messages, videos, or photos. Tap on a photo to share it, and choose one of your friends. Swipe down to go back to standby. And have fun exploring.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, there's just a couple of things, reasons I wanted to show that. One, just because there's just constantly evolving devices that you have to think of providing helpful information for, even for something like Google Glass. And then I thought the way they did the video is really well done with the kind of those the overlays that were simulating what the person was seeing, and yeah, just overall I thought it was really well done. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Or
Well, I'm not sure I learned an awful lot from it. I just kind of got the idea you kind of stroke the glasses with your finger, but that's more or less all I saw. It was hard to get, you know, any real refinement from that. It's a difficult thing to show in, you know, to really explain how to do it in detail.
yeah, I wonder. I mean, I haven't used them, so I don't know like how hard it is to pick up that concept when you're actually looking through them, which would really be the point. That would be when you'd want to know that, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we'll be doing any kind of really high-end complex applications through Google Glass, but it definitely does present a new canvas for things. And then let's see, the other item was just a document that Gordon Meyer had sent me a while back that the Apple Style Guide. Do you have that one?
Yep.
And so maybe just kind of click on some of the items in there. So Apple, on Apple.com, they have a essentially a TechCom style guide that has all the vocabulary for the official terms that Apple uses for different technology items. And that's freely available. So if you want to see how Apple chooses to define things, you can get that in there. And then I think there's a section on usage, isn't there, as well?
Yep, so style and usage, but that's the one we saw earlier.
Okay.
That was with the alphabetical list.
So that's all available. And then let's see what else.
Talking of style guides, do you know if is the Microsoft Style Guide still freely available anywhere, or do you have to buy that?
It's not. You have to buy the book, and I'm not even sure if there's an EPUB version on that. I guess that's something I should check out, but I'm not sure about that.
So I still occasionally get inquiries sent to my email about the availability of it as a result of writing an article for your website, Joe, I think about 12 years ago.
So there was this weird sweet spot where it was freely available for a year or two.
Well, that's right, and I put a link in the article, and people are still complaining to me 12 years later that the link doesn't work.
But I think the 4th edition of the Microsoft Style Guide came out 2012 or the start of 2013, something like that. So every
Yeah,
3 or 4 years they redo that.
guys, I'm looking at Amazon here, and there's a Microsoft Manual of Style, January of 2012. But there's another one, Manual of Style for Technical Pubs. It's November of 2009. Those are the top two search results.
All right, so the one 2012 I think is the 4th edition that I was thinking about.
It is available. It's about $22.
Just regular price? Oh, okay, so that got discounted quite a bit then, because I think it was a lot higher than that before.
Yeah.
Does it show that as an EPUB?
I don't. Wait. Yeah, there's a Kindle edition. Yeah.
Can you share that over, or were you having a problem with the share on yours?
Well, I was on. I'm looking at it on a completely different.
Oh, all right. Well, never mind.
But yes, there's a Kindle edition for $13.49.
All right, cool.
Point one computer at the other computer, Dave.
Now, if I knew any of this, but I don't.
All right, cool. Well, I think we got through a lot of stuff. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No.
Oh, Matt, did you want to mention the conference?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, the Europe conference,
Sure.
which is in Krakow next June 5th, 6th. We just closed the invitation for proposals. But if anyone's hearing this and has a burning idea or suggestion, then you might just get in time. So yeah, do get in touch with me, and otherwise, yeah, take a look at the website. It's uaconference.eu.
In June, right?
Yeah, June 5th, 6th.
Okay, cool. And all 4 of us are going to be at the Writers UA West event, which is going to be in Palm Springs in March, the 3rd through the 6th. And so the early registration prices are going on for that right now, which today is December 10th. So, all right, cool. Well, yeah, so thanks for doing this, and we'll try and get together again in the future.
Great. Thanks a lot, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.